Hello and welcome to episode number 44 of the Real Life Podcast. You may remember in a time gone by the wise words of Drew Blackett, which were elite film that. The man is back today after a 3-year gap on the podcast to discuss all things Marty Supreme. He recently came to me and told me that it was one of his favourite films ever, having seen it at the cinema. He's completely enamoured with it, and given that there's a lot of hot topic discussion around it at the minute, I thought we could sit down and have a proper chinwag. We also get into some stuff about the Oscars in general. This is filmed before the BAFTAs and all of the events that occur that night, both good and bad. But you'll be pleased to hear that this time around Drew is feeling much better than he was last time when he was deathly ill and about to spew everywhere. We've got a full health Drew Blackett in for all of this episode, so sit back, relax and enjoy a full, comprehensive chat about all things Marty Supreme. What was wrong with you the last time we did one of these? Because I looked, it was 2020...
I was thinking this the other day.
2022, I think it was?
I think it was about 4 years ago now, I guess, 3.5 years. I remember just being deathly ill. I'd been at the pub, naturally, before we recorded it, and I left the pub early. I was meant to have another pint at the pub and then come back and do the thing with you.
What have you done with
I know, I was so unwell. I went back, spewed, and then I was like, right, okay, I'll try and have a nap before I do this thing. And then I remember coming and calling you, we did the thing, and then as soon as it finished, I think I lasted the entire time, and then as soon as it finished, I was straight back up and went back to the toilet. I think the fact we were doing the podcast meant that I was distracted.
You did very well.
I was well, yeah, but that combined with, like we said before, it was recorded on a potato.
Well, let's be honest, your laptop microphone wasn't ready for what we were about to try and do.
No, it wasn't at all. But the laptop, I think, was about 6-year-old at the time. It was a very old laptop. Okay. So the capacity is not high here.
Well, now, as you can see, we've got a much more professional setup.
Yeah.
We've sandwiched a table between me and Drew. And he has to be sort of reclined on his couch.
I was saying, it's romantic. It's
it is
cute.
a bit. We're missing cute. A candle, but other than that, it's looking good. Yeah. So, Marty Supreme.
Yes, mate.
You've seen it.
I have.
That's a good start. I'm going to start with a question.
Yeah.
And this might seem like a really rogue question.
Yes.
But I promise you it matters. Have you seen / what do you think about The Wolf of Wall Street?
Of course I have. Also, a fantastic film.
Okay.
I'm curious as to why you've asked us that question, because The Wolf of Wall Street relates to one of my points that I was going to make about the film.
Okay, good. But I think it's because there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah, I agree.
Culturally.
Yes.
I think Marty Supreme is everything that The Wolf of Wall Street hoped that it would be.
Yeah, I agree.
You've got main character with a lot of moral flaws. Mm-hmm. Obviously a very big film. Great director, big star in the lead role.
Absolutely.
A man who kind of disregards the women in his life tenfold. And does some very questionable stuff.
Sorry,
in
shouldn't
the
laugh.
pursuit of money.
Well, nothing funny about disregarding women.
No, but it is a coincidence.
Yeah, it is. I
want to know where you stand. First of all, where you stand on the whole about Marty Supreme, how much you enjoyed it, and what you think it says.
We've had this discussion before this. Yeah. I absolutely loved it. It was class. I actually went to see it twice at the cinema, and I was trying to think about the last time I went to see a film twice at the cinema, and I can't remember. I think the last time was Bohemian Rhapsody.
Taken 3. Oh.
I think it was Bohemian Rhapsody, and that was years ago now.
Really?
I can't remember how long ago that was. And the reason being is because I enjoyed it so much the first time. I was like, I've got to go back and see it again. But I think that part of the reason I enjoyed it the first time, and this is kind of a separate thing, I went to the Tyneside Cinema to watch it, and it was in the big kind of theatre, bit like cinema in there. And I think the whole setting, and it was fully packed, there was not a spare seat.
Yep.
And just, it was the first day it was out in the UK. I think we went on the 27th, but nowhere else in the Northeast was showing it, so we had to go to the Tyneside. I say had to, it was great. It was, like you say, immense film. Had a really good time watching it. As for what it says and the kind of message and how it flows and how it leads, it's almost this unlikable character that you're not meant to enjoy, and it's in it and he becomes someone that you kind of root for. Mm-hmm. And the idea that he's so obsessed with winning and he becomes arrogant and cocky and ignorant and all this sort of stuff actually ends up losing in many ways. And so the fact that you can be so desperate to be the best. Obviously, he's striving for greatness. We've seen that in the marketing for the film. You can strive for greatness, but if you don't do it in the right way, you'll still be a big fucking loser. Mm-hmm. So there was that kind of juxtaposition and that kind of contrast I thought was really interesting and quite a good narrative for the film to follow throughout, with all these different kind of plot lines and storylines that kind of resulted in a chaos, but that was in a controlled way, I think. similar to the Wolf of Wall Street, like we mentioned.
Yeah. So one very interesting thing which you said, which was that you said you're not supposed to kind of like him, which I think is probably fair.
The first couple of scenes I thought he was a prick.
Yeah.
One of the first scenes is he's someone calls him and says, your mom's really unwell. And he goes, yeah, no, she's fucking not. Just take her to the hospital. I'm not asked.
Yeah.
I'm playing ping pong. Like, you know what I mean? So
it does set its stall out very early on
Yeah.
as to who he is.
Yeah.
But you also said you end up rooting for him.
Yeah.
Which I think in a lot of cases is very true. But I don't know if it's universally true. And the question I've been asking myself is, because of the Wolf of Wall Street similarities, there's a huge debate, which is, are we watching a series of decisions made badly with poor moral fibre by a character and be invited to judge them? Or are we invited to kind of bypass them and go with the flow and root for our protagonist? And then also, in portraying them, in having them on the screen, are we doing damage or are we making a point? Because you look at stuff in this film like the role of the women, they are largely reduced or subdued or intimidated or taken advantage of. And you go, is that a commentary? Is that the point of this, to kind of bring that to your attention and go, this is how he treats the women in his life? Or is it just another case of like, that's just what the film is and this is kind of, put up with this is the roles that you're going to give women, do you know?
it's so interesting that you said that. One of my notes is actually, I wrote it earlier today, it just says degrading of women,
Right.
or women degradation, or whatever the fuck you want to say. I've seen I've seen a few different opinions of the film that I've said it's typical of the Safdies to, and they have done this in previous films as well, to kind of, you know, belittle the woman and think, you know, yeah, and in that respect it's not good. In that respect you think, yeah, this is a really morally questionable guy who's just, like I say, trying anything he can to get to the top and trying anything he can to be the best. And ultimately, yeah, maybe that is something that you're meant to think about a bit more, and it is something that is important in the film, and not someone that is a role model or out like that. You know what I mean? Like, ultimately, the film ends with. Am I allowed to say the ending? Or not?
If you have spoilers, yeah, go.
It's. I don't want to ruin it.
If someone's going to listen to a podcast about Marty Supreme,
Well, they should have watched it. Yeah,
then
I mean, I
they're
can't.
an idiot.
It's also been out since Christmas.
Han Solo dies.
No, essentially he only grows up and kind of starts to acknowledge the woman in his life, Rachel, when she has his baby.
Yeah.
Up until then, he couldn't give a shit. He's not asked, and so it shouldn't take like such a monumental occasion for him to become a man, I guess, and for him to become morally sound. But it does. So in that respect, I agree. It's not something to root for. But I think from a consumer point of view, in the respect of, you know, the chaos that kind of ensues and all the different, you know, there's a little bit about, you know, he owes this guy money and he's, you know, he's lying through his teeth sort of thing. I was rooting for him to do one over on the guy, and in the end it did happen, not because of Marty Mauser, but because of fucking Big Pen Teller.
Yeah.
Not Big Pen Teller, Penn and Teller. Big Pen from Penn and Teller.
I missed that cameo.
Who fucking shoots it? That's a mental cameo. You know what it is? And when I first watched it, I didn't even realise it was him. And I watched it the second time and I thought, that's Penn from Penn and Teller.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So, and in the end, he gets his, you know, the Ezra gets his comeuppance sort of thing. So it's, in that respect, I was rooting for him.
Yeah.
And I think it was, and like I said, you do want him to win. You do want him to win the ping pong. And I thought the fact that, but I did think the fact that he didn't get to play in the championship and that his win was just beating his rival was a nicer way of doing it.
Yep.
I thought it was much better. If he'd have won the championship at the end, I think I would have thought, oh, well, you kind of seen that coming.
That's
It's
the
a bit shit.
distinction. That's a distinction, and I think that's where it comes apart from Wolf of Wall Street. I think Marty Supreme is on the right side of the line. I think its heart is fundamentally in the right place, and the reason I think that is because, like you say, his victories kind of are so shallow and actually fairly meaningless.
Yeah.
Most of the victories in the film are about getting one night's worth of stability.
Yeah.
Before we move on to the next day and he doesn't have any anymore. And I feel like for him at the end to then, you know, his biggest win is something that happens right at the start of the film. Before he becomes Marty Supreme,
Agreed.
as it were.
Agreed.
His big win it originates from him just being a shoe salesman in New York and, you know, not really caring for this woman at all. But that's his, and you know, that's the most emotional you see him.
Yeah.
He's more emotional than he is after he wins the table tennis
Wins the
match.
game, yeah, agreed. Well, you see him cry. Obviously, he cries at the end when he sees his little boy, and like, you know, like you say, that emotion that he showed, we hadn't seen in the rest of the film.
Yeah.
Like he was almost chasing highs, like you say, he was chasing stability every night. He just needed a place to stay or whatever. Relied on his friends, relied on Kay, who was obviously Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yep.
But he was just chasing these highs, you know what I mean? He went to steal a necklace from Kay just to get that little bit of adrenaline, just to kind of, try and achieve this major goal. And then I think at the end of the film, the realization is, the ping pong's not even that really important. And if I'm honest, in the film, the ping pong's not what sticks with me.
Yeah.
The ping pong is not so, like, it's a great, obviously it's a consistent plot that goes throughout the film, and it kind of, it makes it flow nice, and it's this cyclical nature which brings it back to the ping pong at the end. Fantastic. But all the other stories and all the other engrossing activities and engrossing kind of things that he does make it as entertaining as it is for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the ping pong is actually when you see some of the worst of him.
Yeah.
I think he hits every kind of stereotypical loser faux pas in all of the ping pong matches, which is like losing and immediately calling bullshit and cheating and screaming for a rematch.
Yeah, and getting banned.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Losing your temper, throwing rackets, kicking shit, all that sort of
To
stuff.
be fair, mate, I think I'd probably do the same. It's like, that's just because I'm a sore loser. But
Watching Tonali give the ball away.
you dafty.
But that, it sort of brings everything back to, and it's evident more in this than it is with Josh Safdie doing this than it is with Benny Safdie doing Smashing Machine. The camera feels a lot like it's a nature documentary. That's kind of the way I see this.
Right.
Whereas in The Wolf of Wall Street, excess is kind of treated as interesting, parties are spectacular, and the camera participates in it. People say, look at all these, wild scenarios that you were in, and go, yeah, but I didn't always see all of them because I was in the bathroom with them for 3 hours doing cocaine. That's not the exciting bit. Whereas, we're not invited to find that bit interesting in this. It kind of, Wolf of Wall Street indulges Jordan Belfort. It doesn't track him, it doesn't observe him, it just kind of invites you into his world. And for me, that's not the fun bit. The problem isn't that Scorsese shows the excess, and it's the fact that actually he's an amazing filmmaker and his filmmaking's so intoxicating that the critique risks getting blurred by the spectacle. So the film looks like it's enjoying all of these parties because it's made so well.
Yeah.
So are they a good thing or not? And the line gets blurred and you don't know. Whereas this it's got that like lovely shaky handheld type thing that they do all the time. It's all the way through Uncut Gems and Good Time. It's always there. Movement and momentum are central, but they feel stressful as hell.
Yeah.
Like I said, the victories are short-lived and they are just a case of moving to the next temporary station. The camera barely ever sits still. It's always
like I say,
moving.
it's the controlled chaos. So
Yeah.
it's the chaos of always the movement and that sort of stuff, but at the same time, it's like you say, it's like a nature documentary. That is in itself such a controlled kind of form of media.
Yeah.
So I get what you mean in that respect, and I agree, to be fair. It is it's an interesting point to take. I'd not thought of it that way before as well, so that is quite good.
I describe it as desperate, and not in the sense that like it's desperately trying too hard, as in the sense that every decision that he makes in every scene is completely desperate. I left Marty Supreme absolutely exhausted because I was like,
Yeah,
bloody
fair.
hell, my heart rate has been through the roof for this whole
Yeah,
time.
it does keep you going, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I was never bored. You're never bored, like you say. You kind of, in your head, you're keeping up with the film.
Yeah.
And you're keeping up with all these different things that are going on, that you don't have a moment to be bored, or you don't have a moment to relax almost. So like you say, your heart is racing. You do feel exhausted at the end of it. It's fair.
Genuinely tired.
Yeah.
And how long is it? It was like two...
It's like 2 and a bit.
2 and a bit.
2 and a bit. I think
2:20
2:20.
like
I was
that,
going to say around 2:20.
Yes, I describe it as like Jordan Belfort's sort of living the dream. I think Marty is like chasing the oxygen he needs.
Yeah, I wrote down on my notes and actually deleted, but it's funny that you mentioned living the dream. It's almost like Marty Supreme is trying to, or Marty Mauser rather, is trying to live that kind of American dream of kind of coming from a shoe shop and hustling his way to the top, but it's not all it's cracked up to be. You know what I mean? Especially back in that kind of era when things just weren't that simple. You know what I mean? He was scrounging around for money. He was a petty thief. He's doing anything he can to try and get that kind of success and like achieve his dream. And ultimately, in the end, you could argue he did, and you could argue he didn't. He didn't get to the World Championships, but that wasn't, in the end, what his dream probably became. It was probably becoming a dad and and having that realization that in reality ping pong's not the most important thing. So
Yeah, it does change, doesn't it? After losing the safety net of having Gwyneth Paltrow, and he goes to whatever the fuck the guy from Dragon's Den is called.
Kevin O'Leary.
Yeah.
It's Mr. Rockfort, something like that.
Somebody's pens.
Yeah, someone that does pens.
When he does the whatever it is humiliation bit in the party.
Yeah.
That's the moment I think he decides actually the goal is to survive.
Yeah.
And then because then when he gets to Japan and he goes up to the guy in charge of the table tennis committee and he's like, "You're not playing," he just kind of takes it.
Yeah, it doesn't
like a
really.
little bit, like he just kind of.
It's almost like he's frozen, isn't it? He doesn't really know what to say in a way, and then he's like, "Right, well, I'm here now. I'm going to fucking do what I want," and then that's what leads to him saying, "Yeah, fuck it. Let's play a real game. This was all fake." Because ultimately, he's got nothing to lose. Then he can't play in the championship, which was what he was there to do. So if anything, he's gonna try and beat his rival.
Yeah.
And I would try and pronounce the Japanese guy's name, but I think it'll.
Was he not just called Endo?
Oh, he might have been.
I think
in my head, it was something a bit more complicated, and I was going to sound really racist, so I decided not to try. But
stuff like when he gets to the front of the line on stage and they're like, no, not yet, go back.
Yeah, go back. Yeah,
and he just has to go and do it.
He is a little bitch, isn't he? in that, like, you know, as well. I don't know if you know the paddle scene.
Yeah,
that was real.
It
wasn't staged. Like I think Kevin O'Leary actually. I seen a thing where Kevin O'Leary said, "Yeah, like Timothy Chalamet like actually said hit us."
Did he fuck? That was his idea. I'm not standing there for a second.
Apparently,
would it be really funny if I actually hit you on the arse?
apparently, it was a real scene. That's what Kevin O'Leary's come out and said.
I don't like Kevin O'Leary. So.
No, well, neither. But he played the part quite well. I thought for a non-actor, I was really quite impressed.
You play a stone cold bellend.
Yeah.
Very well, sir. Well done.
Well, it was a quote from Josh Safdie, not Josh Safdie. Kevin O'Leary said Josh Safdie approached us and said, "I'm looking for a dickhead. You just be yourself. just be yourself." Like that's what he came out and said. And to be fair, he did fucking well. The casting was so unorthodox.
It was a bit unusual, wasn't it?
It was really unorthodox, and it's bizarre. Like I've actually got a list of a few of the different characters. So obviously we've got Kevin O'Leary, as we know, who played Rock, whatever you want to say, pen guy. Dion, who was Marty's slightly larger friend.
Yes.
Do you know who that is?
He designed the ping pong balls for him.
Yes. Do you know who that is in real life?
No.
He was, and I didn't know this until I seen it on like Instagram or some shit like that. He's a New York Knicks fan, not an actor, no previous acting experience. He went viral for a New York Knicks rant on Twitter.
Did you really?
Safdie seen it and cast him in Marty Supreme. That's a genuine story.
Is that all we need to do?
Because Safdie's a Knicks fan. So he cast him from that.
Newcastle have been nothing short of absolutely fucking shit this season.
Mate, honestly, I need to get on it, man. I need to get on it. And get Danny Boyle or someone like that.
I was going to say, the next Steven Soderbergh film is going to have the guy that goes, "There is no passion, there is no aggression."
But yeah, I mean, so he was in it.
That's
like,
wild.
Yeah, Tyler the Creator, who I don't believe has had much acting experience in the past.
Yeah.
I thought he was really good. I thought he played, it was a smaller role, but I thought he played it really well. And
you've seen that Travis Scott is in The Odyssey?
That blows my mind. I've seen.
Everyone's going, "There's no great people in it."
You know what it is?
Travis Scott.
I know Travis Scott's bro, blows my mind. Have you seen the photo of him or like the clip? And he's got his dreads, and I'm like, no one had dreads in ancient Greece.
I would assume we're taking some liberties.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, and I also can't see Travis Scott acting very well. Bro's gonna have autotune on his voice as he's talking. He's gonna try to tell Tom Holland something really serious.
They've got like a relationship, him and Nolan, because the end of Tenet finishes with a Travis Scott song that he made especially for.
I've not seen Tenet.
The film.
All everybody told us was it was far too complicated, so I didn't bother because I couldn't be asked.
I mean, it's a bit. It's his most like, all right, sit down. Here's a graph film. You go, fuck.
Yeah, sometimes I don't like. Sometimes I'm in the mood for that, but sometimes I just can't be asked, man. I just want to watch a film.
But I think partly of it is because Ludwig Göransson was a hip hop producer, like had a rap album before he did anything else, and then he did the music for that. I was like, well, I could just get Travis Scott on it, and then I guess Nolan was like, cool,
yeah,
get down with the kids.
I mean, look, it's been working. Like I said, Tyler the Creator was quite good. I enjoyed him. Don't get us wrong, he's not going to win any awards or out like that, but he did what he needed to do.
Fairly solid.
Yeah, I thought he enhanced the film. I don't think he was bad by any stretch of the imagination. It just made us think of if Tyler the Creator wasn't a rapper. If I'm honest, like if he was just an ordinary bloke, that's probably how he'd be. You know what I mean? So I mean, I'm trying to think of anybody else. The guy who runs the ping pong club was an ex-basketballer, George Gervin, but he's a Hall of Fame basketballer.
Right.
Never acted
the one
before.
That's sort of is like kind of pally with Marty.
Yeah. So he was in it again, a weird casting choice, but. If you can throw in these little cameos and they're going to have 2 lines, then who
they're
cares?
used to it, the Safdies. This is kind of how they work.
Yeah, true.
They go, we need a leading man for this actually genuinely sort of emotionally charged film. The Rock, Adam Sandler. You go,
Yeah, I know.
What?
I know.
And then it works.
I've only seen half of Uncut Gems.
Oh,
I do need to watch it fully all the way through.
That is an Oscar-winning.
Well, everybody said that, but like I watched it when I was away, and I was on a flight, and I got halfway through and we landed, and I just never got around to watching the rest. But I enjoyed the first half.
Honestly, on a plane is not the place to watch.
Yeah, I don't think I was fully concentrating either, to be fair. I think I just needed an easy film. I think I watched Happy Feet before that as well. So it's like,
that was quite the leap.
Yeah, true. So I don't think I was in the mood for like a serious film. But
I
anyways,
watched Captain Phillips on a boat once.
but no, the guy behind the cage. This is the last person that I thought was an interesting caster. Do you know who that is?
No.
The guy behind the cage was a homeless man. I think this was like in 2010 or something, like years and years ago. But he was a homeless guy who was just on the street, and people would drive past him and video him because he had a golden voice. That was what it was, like a golden voice for radio. And then he ended up getting a job with a radio station, and then he changed his life, turned it around, and he's only in it for 2 seasons.
So this is like Italian neorealism shit they're doing.
Mate, it's
casting
fucking
randomly.
The casting is crazy, and now there's a new Oscar category best casting this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it won't win. I don't think Marty Supreme will win it.
No,
and we'll come on to the Oscars later. But I did think it was interesting how Safdie did it, and well, not just Safdie, how the whole crew did it. And it worked. It kind of shouldn't have.
No, but everyone kind of had their own sensibility. I actually felt like, for whatever critiques you may have, even of the female characters, every character was sort of flashed out enough of a way for me to think, okay, I get exactly who you are. There's no kind of there's not much boring about the extra people in there.
Yeah, true.
They might not be the most intense or integral roles in the world.
Yeah.
But they each have their own facets, which I really enjoyed. There's a great moment when Adam Sandler's doing his acceptance speech because he won, and I think it was an Indie Spirit Award for Uncut Gems.
Right.
And he goes, I'd like to give a shout out to my fellow nominees who will now and forever be known as the guys who lost to fucking Adam Sandler. It's so good. He's so aware of himself. Funny. And I thought it would be a career change, and then he just went back into making.
And he did Happy Gilmore 2, which is one of the worst films I think I've ever seen in my life, by the way.
There, isn't it?
I watched the first one again the other day, and I remember I was watching it, I was thinking, how have we gone from this to the absolute pile of dog shit that came out last year?
He clearly doesn't give a shit.
Mate. I even watched it when I was drunk, trying to enjoy it a bit more. Because everybody told us it was shit, and I was like, if I watch it when I'm drunk, it might be a bit better.
I fucking need something for this.
But it was still shit. It was still absolutely dog shit. Anyways, we're not here to talk about how bad how Happy Gilmore was.
Okay, I want to move on to the man. I want to move on to Marty.
Yes.
Right? And I don't want to make the whole thing about comparing it to Wolf of Wall Street, but there's such an obvious comparison here. Marty has he is all bravado. He is all he's an amazing table tennis
charisma,
player.
isn't it? It's the charisma.
But his confidence in the rest of his real world engagement outside of table tennis is backed up by very, very little.
Yeah.
He has to solve a million problems, and he's a shit problem solver.
Yeah, true.
He is an awful problem solver. His head goes to jump out the window before it goes to use the door.
Yeah.
And it's not New York window where there's stairs outside. It's 16th floor skyscraper.
Yeah, true, yeah.
Belfort in Wolf of Wall Street he's depicted as he's like hyper confident, endlessly sort of relaxed and charismatic. He's trying to be the master of his manipulation, but relaxes into that role and sort of sinks into it. Whereas if you scratch the tiniest bit off Marty, he comes completely undone. He's driven by panic. So when him and Gwyneth Paltrow are discovered in the park, and that whole stuff about losing the necklace and needing to get another one, he is so desperate. And it's not in a kind of like I'm going to manipulate it sort of way. It's like I am literally one step away from getting on my knees and begging at your feet. And that's...
Well, in the end, he did do that as well with Kevin O'Leary's character.
Exactly.
So
I'm going to take my trousers down. Take your trousers down. I think that means that the film is about how lawless hustle is painful. Yeah, there's a couple of bits of payoff in that he beats Endo and he has a child. But relative to what he's had to fucking do to other people before that, I don't think they're remotely comparable whatsoever. And particularly because they are not the things he's been fighting for. He's been fighting to win the world champion, not beat Endo, win the world championship, and then come back and sort his life out with whatever cash he earns from that. He doesn't, at any point, no matter how far down the line his ex-girlfriend is, whether pregnancy, he still doesn't care. It's only when the baby actually exists in the world that he suddenly gives a shit.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And I think it shows you. I think people people could leave Wolf of Wall Street and go, God, what a life! I want to be that guy. Drugs and sex and money all the time, and Margot Robbie.
Yep.
Get me in there. And to those blokes, you go, you're a dick. But in this, nobody has left this going, God, I wish I was like Marty Supreme.
Well, and I'll tell you why, right? Because in this, the difference between the two characters is there's a couple of things, but I think the difference is, like you say, Marty Mauser is driven by panic, and he almost allows himself to be manipulated. And we saw that when Rachel fakes the black eye from her fella or whoever it is, you know what I mean? And he allows himself to be manipulated because he's so driven by that panic and that kind of that self-absorbed nature. And he's not the fucking brightest. I think that's what it comes down to. He's not actually a bright bloke. Yeah. And so because of that, and because he lets himself drive on panic and adrenaline and the rush, he makes all these silly decisions. You know what I mean? So he makes the decision to go do the hustling, and he gets caught and then loses the dog and then doesn't do anything about it, and ignores his pregnant girlfriend or whatever relationship it is. He makes all of these mistakes, whereas Jordan Belfort doesn't allow himself to be manipulated. He is often the one that is manipulating other people. He was able to manipulate the FBI for a very long time. Obviously, he got caught in the end, but he was able to go about his business in a much smarter way, and that was because he was a smart bloke. You know what I mean? And so that's one of the differences. And like you say, no one thinks I want to be Marty Supreme, because ultimately I reckon if we were to go on after the film and kind of conceptualize what would happen afterwards, yes, he might be come down to earth for a bit with the kids, and he's done the thing, but ultimately, are you still going to chase that world championship? Are you still going to chase those highs, I believe? Whereas at the end of Wolf of Wall Street, we saw Jordan Belfort cut all of the shit out. He's going to do seminars. He's changed his life. He's got that much money. He doesn't need to worry about anything. He was in jail in probably quite a nice prison. It's like, and I know that obviously was glamorized on for the film, but at the same time, you'd think I'd want to be Jordan Belfort at the end of that film. He's going to live a chill life now. Marty Mauser for me is not. He's going to live a very hectic life still, and to observe, fun, great laugh. To be and to do, not at all. It's not something that you want to do.
Yeah. I'm not. I also want to make it. I'm not saying that the film is morally perfect.
It's definitely not.
Definitely not.
It's definitely not.
But what it is it's much more sort of provocative in terms of thought than it is indulgent, like Wolf of Wall Street feels to me. Like, I have big question marks over the scene where he uses one of his old trophies to beat up the abusive girlfriend.
Yeah.
Which is like, I don't know if it's kind of a flash of, he can do, he can have his heart in the right protective place for the people he cares about. He can do not number one. But the flip side to that is he actually only looking out for number one because that's his kid in there and he doesn't want anything to happen to it? Or is it Josh Safdie going, should we just have a moment which kind of gets us a bit on side with him? Because it's a little bit out of character, because what the reward of that is so untangible, and every kind of reward he's seeking is something either not materialistic but material or tangible, which is going to advance him from one place to the next.
Well, no, you're not wrong. There's another smaller example, but for example, when he goes to see Kay at the theatre, and he actually ends up helping her with the scene and suggests to do things differently in the scene, but that comes from cockiness and arrogance, in my opinion. It's not because he knows how to act or anything like that. But realistically, he's done that nice thing for Kay. You know what I mean? She's trying to help her out with the show, but he's not there for her. He's there for himself to see Mr. Rockwell or and to get on the plane. And then ultimately to steal a necklace to then sell, which ended up being costume jewelry. You know what I mean? So he's driven by self-absorption, and and ultimately his morals are completely wrong. He's never morally correct, really, apart from at the end of the film. Safdie's probably has done that to get her back on side, and I think that's why I said earlier you want to root for him a bit. You do want him to do well ultimately, even though he's a bit of a prick. I am curious. Obviously, Marty Mauser was a real guy. It's loosely based on a real story. I don't believe... I imagine he hustled and shit like that. I don't imagine he was involved with gang members and mafia shit like that. But you never know. But I would be curious to see how Marty Mauser was in real life, to see if he was actually this kind of cocky, arrogant guy who who went and was so keen on winning that he sacrificed pretty much everything else. His morals went out the window. So,
well, on that point, on being a real guy point, I think the moment that I sort of lost faith completely in Wolf of Wall Street was when Jordan Belfort turned up in it.
Right at the end,
cameoed the actual bloke, and I went, "You're not making a film about the new guy who does seminars and has calmed his life down. You're making a film about the misogynist who's going to fuck everybody over, who does endless amounts of drugs."
Yeah.
And I don't want to see him. I don't want him to turn up. It's now become look, the real guy. And I'm like, what? The dickhead?
Yeah, true.
Thanks. This at no point when, and we'll just have a moment just to celebrate him.
Yeah.
It just doesn't do that. It kind of spends the whole time shaping him.
Yeah, the real Jordan Belfort as well in that scene actually says, "This guy that's coming on stage is the baddest motherfucker I think I've ever met," or words to that effect.
Like that, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it glorifies all that kind of misogynistic, awful behaviour. But at the same time, he's just a prick, and he's probably still. Jordan Belfort's probably still a prick in real life, if we're being completely honest.
Yes,
but
it's just now that he's got the circumstances in which he can relax and be a prick. He doesn't have to.
He's served his time. He's got his money still.
Exactly.
He's probably still chilling on yachts and in penthouses and stuff like that. So
he would to be fair, that would be quite nice.
Well, naturally, mate. I mean,
I'm not about to behave like that in order to get there.
My flat's fucking freezing. I can barely put the heating on at the minute.
I won't say that I hadn't noticed.
No, I'll let the heat. It's true. It's true.
Kidding.
I got back from the gym and I thought, sorry, this is done. I got back from the gym and I was thinking, fucking hell, it's freezing. Tom's gonna freeze.
I've taken my jacket off.
True.
I'm still sitting here rustling in my coat. And
you can put it back on if you need.
That's fine. So the big question then, how good is it?
Oh, it's spectacular. It's from a few different perspectives as well. From a purely entertainment value, it's a 10 out of 10. Right. It's and that doesn't mean the film's a 10 out of 10. That means if you want to be entertained, you should watch this film because at the end of the day, you're not going to be bored, like we've mentioned. You're going to have a really good fun time watching it. Films are sometimes for thought-provoking things, but from an entertainment perspective, and I think that's what this does really, really well. From a more thought-provoking perspective, I'm kind of thinking about the morals behind Marty Mauser and the kind of the underlying story and the underlying message. It is very good still. It is good, and like I say, it kind of says, yeah, you can try and be the biggest winner in the world, but you're probably still a loser, you know what I mean? It's like, also is a really, really good message. It's very well written. It's very well made in that respect. And I think the culmination of all of the factors, like I say, the casting was very, very good. The acting itself, I thought was fantastic from Timothy Chalamet. It's a great film. It's a really, really good film. And I actually said to you a few weeks back that I think it could be in my top 3 films of all time.
You did, which was kind of why I wanted to do this.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this man
It was incredible. And so at the time, after I'd first seen it, my first thought was, that's like if Wolf of Wall Street and Forrest Gump had a baby. It was like, because it's this arrogant guy, and then from the Forrest Gump perspective, it's like all these different stories and plot lines. It's like, but it all ties together at the end.
A trip to the canal if that was my child.
But and Forrest Gump is my favorite film of all time, and Wolf of Wall Street is one of my favorite films of all time. So it's don't make any jokes.
No, I'm not going to make a joke. I was just going to say that.
Yeah,
just don't like Forrest Gump.
Do you not?
No, that's a separate conversation, but I know I don't.
Oh, we're gonna.
It's a film that exists because the technology allowed it to. No other reason.
It's a film that exists because it's fucking classic.
Also, Jenny is a cock.
Jenny is a cock.
I'm gonna go and have sex with these 48 other men. Okay, Jenny.
Well, yeah, but he's
what?
But Mr. Gump is a. Oh, we're getting off topic here. Mr. Gump is someone you root for and you feel for him, and yeah. I cried like 3 times at that film. Right. It put me through the emotions. It was great.
I cried 3 times.
Because you thought it was shit.
Wrong time.
Yeah, class. The only thing that I think this film could have benefited from was a bit more emotional depth.
Okay.
Which it obviously, but maybe they were never intending for that to be the case. But if there was a bit in the film where I thought, fuck me, this is emotional, I'm gonna cry.
That links back to something that somebody else said to me. My friend Rosalind said that she was frustrated with it because at no point was there an explanation as to why Marty actually wants any of this. There wasn't that one scene or one bit of information which kind of linked back to...
Said why.
Yeah, a prior life experience or motivation. And so she was trying to, as she was watching it, she was thinking, yeah, the filmmaker's very good and all that sort of stuff, but I'm trying to relate his motives back to something. I'm trying to find an underlying reason for all of this. Is it simply just to be successful?
That was what I was just going to say. I think is the reason there's not an emotional moment, is the reason why there's not a why, because there almost doesn't need to be, because he's that arrogant, and yet and it's that obvious that he's that keen on success. That does there need to be? It probably would have added. It could have added to the film if they'd done it right.
Yeah.
But then again, if all of a sudden they'd switched it up and said, "Oh, my dad was a fucking ping pong player" or something like that, then they've got to go with that storyline. That kind of has to be consistent throughout. They can't just throw one scene in and say, "This is why I'm doing it." So
absolutely
right. And to try and intertwine it into a film that is already fantastic could have been at a detriment. It would have been good to see how they would have done it, and I do think an emotional moment would have been good. The only emotional moment is when he cries at the end and sees the baby.
Pretty much.
That is the only emotional moment for me, at least, anyways.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, which was that, like, even if you just do that at the start, even one scene and go, this is why there's a motivation, then every single action becomes far more emotionally loaded.
Yeah.
And in a film, and particularly a script that is this kind of like zippy and shifting from one thing to another to the next, going at like breakneck pace the whole time and never letting you relax. The idea of Marty taking a second and taking stock and relaxing into that emotion, it may have felt like too big of a jolt. Like it may have felt like, and then you're right, it would have changed the context of everything else, and suddenly things don't become frantic and desperate and anxiety inducing. They become kind of
slowed down a
heavy
bit.
and desperate and like,
it changes the film completely,
it really
doesn't it?
does.
It changes
and
the film.
I think they kind of measured it right in maybe not letting things dwell too heavy. Because also then you ask more questions about Marty. It gets you more engrossed in seeing where he's going to end up and what he will start. I mean, he literally nothing gets in his way.
Yeah.
The man, if I was having a bath and then I fell through the floor and like basically killed a man,
Yeah.
I would take a week off.
A week? You guys like me taking longer than that, but like... Yeah, he got up. He took some money and he fucked off.
Yeah, exactly. He stole some cash.
He stole some cash and took a dog that he was meant to take to the vets, and then went and gambled it all and hustled people at a bowling alley.
Amazing.
You know what I mean? So it is very different. And if you'd added, like we say, if you'd added that emotional context and that bit of heaviness, it probably would have changed the film for better or worse. We won't know.
Yeah.
But it would have been interesting to see how they would have done it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's a thought for possible future projects from Safdie.
Just, not to nerd out too much, but just filmmaking wise, in terms of actual technical stuff, it is incredibly well made.
You're more clued in on this than me,
Well,
so you go for a bit.
So, like, Josh Safdie has a really strong voice. I think he's able to set up the camera in a way which means that a scene will play out with just the right amount of pacing, of information given away, of all that sort of stuff. And that is not easy. And what he's good at also is keeping that in context. Because I think J.J. Abrams can do something similar, which is set up a camera and have a scene and map it out and make it look great and watch it move, all that sort of stuff. And then when you ask him to do it again for the next scene, he goes, oh shit,
Yeah.
didn't know we were going to do another one of them. You're like, well, we've only done 5 minutes, JJ, so I would have thought so.
Yeah.
Which is why The Rise of Skywalker is shit. But I just love, but I think the script is brilliant. Like the script, it's so, it does exactly what I want big Hollywood blockbusters to do, which is not go like, what are we, some kind of Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
But more along the lines of kind of that really well observed, typical day-to-day interaction stuff, which then gets twisted and manipulated depending on what people want. And all of the friendly stuff when he's in the underground table tennis club, and he's sort of greeting everyone kind of as he normally would, but it's his tone that changes our understanding of his position in that scene. He'll say stuff like, yeah, hi, yeah, you're still playing? Yeah, good, whatever. And because he's doing that kind of dismissive thing, at the start of the film, he would have been enthusiastic about that. He would have kept up the bravado, he would have kept up the performance.
Agreed.
And then he gets in the middle of it and he just can't be bothered anymore, but he still does the same chit-chat.
Yeah.
I absolutely love stuff like that because it's so easy to get wrong but they don't. Also, when you have a performer as good as Timothée Chalamet is, you will get that done right. One of the big questions is floating around at the minute, because there seems to be some big reassessment going on, which is that everybody's 4.5, 4 and 5 star reviews from the start are starting to get a bit of a wave of 3, 2.
Yeah, I've
2
seen that as well.
right?
Yeah,
People going, this really isn't as deep as you think it is. This really isn't as well made as you think it is. This really, it certainly has great cinematic elements to it, but as a piece as a whole, is it really kind of... And people are starting to go, is Timothée Chalamet actually doing a great performance here, or is he fairly one-dimensional the whole way through? Is this kind of like zippy, fake, confident guy? Like, is that all there is to it? And I had to take a moment when I was reading all this stuff, because it's so easy to be swayed by, but I did have to go, am I looking at this through rose-tinted glasses?
Yeah.
But I don't think I am.
No, neither.
I think there's a frustration which people have with it, which they didn't have with Good Time or Uncut Gems, because in both of those films, the central characters who don't have great morals get like karmic justice by the end of it. A thing will happen to them which, no spoilers, kind of grounds them or gives them a sense of karma.
Yeah.
In this, you have to think hard before you realise why he hasn't just won.
Yeah.
Because the film presents itself to you as beats his opponent and gets a baby, and he's thrilled. And you go, right, so he did it in a way. He didn't do it.
No, he didn't.
His goals completely shifted, and actually he's had to settle for a lot less than he would have done at the start. And I think that's worth noting.
You could argue that's growth from the character, though, and that shows that Timothée Chalamet isn't as one-dimensional as people are thinking.
Exactly.
And to be fair, at the same time, I think people just like to be different.
Yeah.
People, you're always going to have someone, if I say that that's brown, someone's going to say it's black.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just the nature of opinions, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know why I said that. I think I went to say black and white, but then a brown came out and I'd kind of committed with it. But you know what I mean? Everybody likes to disagree. That's just the nature of the world these days. Yeah. I can understand from a moral perspective, and I've seen a lot of things on Instagram and Twitter where specifically female reviewers have said this is not good. This is really damaging, and Safdie's being a prick. Yeah. Whilst I can understand that, at the same time, if you take it for what it's worth, and if you take it for, like I say, entertainment value, the kind of perspective, the thought-provoking aspect of it, and you combine all the factors, I do think it's a fantastic movie, and I think people are very quick to. It's almost like the more praise you get, the more people are gonna. It's like attention, isn't it? It's like the more attention you get, the more bad attention you're gonna get. They come hand in hand. They're not.
But it's still proportionally been viewed very positively.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think justifiably as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, I understand the complaints about, he's insufferable, there's no comic justice for him, does the last scene show that actually the film is just a big hug to men who dare to dream big, right? Yeah. Which, I understand those things, but I think it requires a little bit more, just a little bit more sort of subtextual understanding. And that's not to say that those people have missed that, because sometimes, you can see it and it still just doesn't hit home. I totally get it. Yeah. But I think it sits on the right side of the line. And I think what a really interesting case study for that is the credits. Because you can either look at that as going, the film telling you, this is the bit that matters. Him having a kid. We are following this for the whole of the title sequence, right? And it is literally a conception of, like, sperm to egg, child is conceived.
A little bit of a bizarre opening,
slightly
I thought,
strange.
As well. I thought it was a bit bizarre.
I was not expecting
when
it.
When I sat down for the first time and watched it, I remember thinking, what am I watching? Yeah, this is going to be bizarre. But
well, there's two ways of looking at it, which is the kind of like the film going, you can go on all the journey you want, but this is the important bit. That's why we're spending so long in this. I'm going to come back to this at the end and you're going to feel like an idiot for not having seen it. Or Marty spaffs all over the screen.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's a very blunt way of looking at it, I think that, but like, it's a way of looking at it, definitely.
Some people saw it the second way, and then kind of carried that through the film, which I totally get, but I don't think that's what it's saying. No. I've been trying to sort of rationalise that in my head, that title sequence, because it's like, I don't know, I would have thought that him doing some sort of Spider-Man-esque jumping through loads of back streets to get back to his apartment on time would have been, where they were all the credits at the start. But actually, it was just like this very intense CGI journey of a sperm. Yeah. I thought, what the hell is going on?
It's interesting.
It certainly grabs your attention.
It does.
I actually think it's like...
And it sticks with you.
Yeah. Have you seen The Prestige?
No.
Never mind.
Sorry.
Have you
No, because you're going to expose me shit film knowledge. Yeah.
No, I'm just trying to think of a film which does the thing where at the start it
brings it back to the end.
And then it brings it back. But I just think that's what it is. It's going. Here's what ultimately matters. Mm-hmm. The first scene is him. That's the happiest you see him.
Yeah.
Is at the start
with Rachel.
Before he goes to the tournament, and it's because number one, he's very green and he's got kind of everything to look forward to, and so he thinks it's all going to be fine. Mm-hmm. But number two is because there's a simplicity in that moment which he rarely allows himself, which is that this might actually be the most fulfilling thing you could possibly think to do.
Very true. You know what else? With that opening scene, whilst we're talking about it, the song choice as well, I thought was fantastic.
Yeah, it's got a banging soundtrack.
Mate, the soundtrack's great.
Yeah.
But the first song and the last song is one of my favourites.
Yeah.
Like, the last song is Tears of Fears, Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Absolute fantastic tune. And as soon as those first chords came in, I was like, oh, wow, it's class. But then the first song is Forever Young. Mm-hmm. And now he's doing that song is playing over as the sperm's going towards the egg and all that sort of shit. And it's like, it's definitely intentional that song was played. Because it's almost saying that this is going to be, this is forever. This is what Marty Mouse, this is what Marty Spoon is going to be. He's going to be this. You know, he's going to be with Rachel in the end. He's going to have this kid. This is him forever now, sort of thing. I think it was intended in a way, and I think it was a very good song choice. And I was singing along in the cinema, very quietly under my breath.
Very loud.
No. Otherwise, I would have got shouted at.
I mean, nothing is in a film by accident.
No, not at all.
Unless we're talking about Melania, because apparently the music choices in that, I can't remember what they were, but they all carry such horrific context.
Right.
That, like, you can't quite believe that they're there.
Right.
And people are going, oh my God, they are the dumbest
songs
shit
ever
you've ever seen.
The film's kind of one of the dumbest things you've ever seen. Have you seen it?
No, I'm not watching the Melania film. Are you shitting me?
Listen, my sister went, and she said it was...
She paid money?
No, she's got one of them, like, unlimited passes, so she gets to go whenever she wants. Right. But, like, she went and seen it, and she said her and one other person was in the cinema. That was it. Yeah. And she said it was one of the worst... No, I think she said it was the worst film she's ever seen. Because it's not a film, it's a documentary. But at the same time, it's like...
Yeah, it's constructed enough to be fictional.
It was just fucking crazy, innit? But, like, so she thought it was haunting. Sorry, I moved away from the mic.
That's all right. But, no, I haven't seen it, and I can already... attest to it. Mark Kermode said, I've seen a Serbian film and this was 1,000 times more painful. Fair, and I was like, yeah, absolutely fair enough.
Shitting on the Serbians, there's no need for that.
No. Google a Serbian film after we've done this. Oh my God, mate.
Is it like the really budget Nollywood films?
It is 1,000 times worse than that. And not in a kind of like, oh, this is bad. In a reading the Wikipedia synopsis will haunt you kind of way.
Fair.
But people are now going, did the music composer or the sound engineer and the director, did they actually know that these were bad song choices? And that's their tiny rebellion in the whole thing. Yeah, they're being begrudgingly made to do this
film, and so they've decided,
to kind of sneak
let's fuck them over. Yeah, so maybe. We'll never know. Well, I mean, we might know, but I'm also opting not to go see that film, so I'll not know what the songs are, to be fair.
No, do you know what? It's one of those films that's worth pirating. And I don't normally, but you know. Anyway, the music choices were great.
Yeah,
the script slaps. The camera's amazing. I think the acting's fabulous. Go on.
Before we move on from the script, have you seen what the script could have been? The ending.
You've done so much more research on this.
Listen, mate. This blew my mind, and I am so chuffed that this script was not what happened. So there's a line in the third act. When
is it just the ending that changes?
It was just going to be the ending that changes. When are you googling what it is?
Well, I'm going to. Yeah.
you ruined my big reveal.
Sorry, no, it's fine.
So essentially, there's a.
What the fuck?
Have you just read what I've seen? Yeah, this is what I mean, bro. It's fucking crazy. I'm so glad this didn't happen, by the way, because I would have been devastated. It would have ruined the whole film. I think I would have hated it. So there's a line in the third scene. Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Rockwell, goes when Marty's playing Endo, and he's going to win the game. I'm a literal vampire. I've seen loads of Marty Mouses before you. I'll see plenty after. One of the thoughts was to have Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Rockwell, bite Timothée Chalamet's neck at a gig, and that was how the film was going to end, and Marty Mouser was going to turn into a vampire. That is a. You're reading it now, aren't you?
That is bizarre.
And I'm sure I don't know whose idea that was. If that was Safdie, then that's fucking questionable. If I don't know if when I've first seen it, I thought it was piss take.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
That is the weirdest
But why would
thing.
you ruin a film by going, yeah, actually he's a vampire? You know what I mean? And I guess, to be fair, it would cause shock value, because that line where he goes, I'm a literal vampire, you don't really think much of.
I actually can't speak. Yeah, no, you don't think anything of it.
But then you would go back to it at the end and realise, well, oh, he is a vampire, but why the fuck had they made him a vampire?
This was intended to show that Marty, having finally achieved success, had become a soulless person, with the transformation acting as a dark, bizarre punishment.
Fuck that, I don't want to see that.
Oh, it would have been at a Tears for Fears gig. So we would have had Roland Dorsabell singing on the stage.
Oh, singing Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
And then...
And instead of him saying he's bitten, he just gets bitten.
You didn't have to sell your soul. That would have been unbelievable.
I would have been devastated if that had happened.
Yeah, that would have ruined the whole... Actually, did you ever see Belfast?
No.
It was great. Should have won a million more awards than it did. But it's basically the story of Ken Branagh's childhood, and he directed it.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. But there's an alternative ending. The whole film's in black and white. The alternative ending is in colour. Ken Branagh goes back to visit Belfast, and it is the wankiest bit you've... oh my God. It ruined the entire... And it was like, thank God this was a DVD extra.
Yeah.
Because Jesus wept. What were you possibly
I
thinking?
don't know what they could have been thinking by going with that ending with that script, but...
Seven?
Seen bits of it.
Okay.
But, like, not like...
How can you not watch that?
I know, don't, will you, don't.
I'm just going to be all this thing. We're going to send you a list. No,
you are going to send us a list, because, like...
Put it on the list, and then 48 years later...
I love films, but, like, I just get, like... I get tired, and then, like, I just put on Happy Feet or something. Madagascar, I watched that the other day.
Need stimulation.
Great film, Madagascar.
The end of... So, do you know what's in the box at the end of 7?
No. Oh, no, I think I might, but I think that's because I've seen spoilers, not because I've watched the film.
Go on.
Is it not someone's head?
Yes.
Yes.
It was originally going to be somebody's dog's head, right? Because they assumed that the ending that they went with was too pessimistic and crap. They accidentally... David Fincher accidentally sent the version of the script to Brad Pitt, which had the
human head.
And he was like, I'm not doing this film unless that's
the end. Fair.
So sometimes people make smart decisions with how they end films.
Happy accidents, yeah, I mean, so...
I think the baby ending gets people talking a lot more than Kevin O'Leary. Can you imagine?
Oh, mate, imagine, by the way...
Can you imagine Deborah Meaden coming up and biting you on the neck and then be like, right, well, that's the end of the film.
Sorry.
Next question then. If you're going to give it Oscars,
what are you
giving?
Are we moving on to Oscar talk now?
We might as well.
Right, I'm going to go for a piss.
Okay.
So you can cut this out, but
let's go to an ad break.
I've been holding it in for about 5 minutes. I'm desperate now. Sorry.
That's not where I thought you were going.
No, I'm desperate.
It's absolutely staying in, by the way. Have you got bladder problems? Drew Blackett's finest tablet will sort your insides out. It doesn't matter what you're doing, who you're inconveniencing. He will go for a slash.
What are you saying?
Absolutely nothing, babe. It's fine.
It's slash.
That's not what I said. Can you at least sing Tears for Fears while you're doing it?
Right, we're back.
We're back
at it.
Ready to do it all over again.
Exactly, mate. Right.
I think the big one.
Yeah. What are we? For this. I was sorry to interrupt. What categories are we going through here? Are we just freestyling it? What do you want to do?
I was going to start with what I think. We're sort of freestyling here, but I was going to start with what I think this film is definitely going to win.
Right. Nice.
Which is Best Actor.
I completely agree. Completely agree. I think if he doesn't win, I'd be very shocked. Mm-hmm. And talking about that, think like, you know, he'd already been nominated for A Complete Unknown. Yep. He's done so many fantastic roles now. Mm-hmm. I think, and he's 30?
Yeah.
I genuinely think we could be looking at like one of the most winningest Oscar by the time he's finished.
Could you phrase that anymore? Like
no,
Donald
shit,
Trump,
absolutely shit.
One of the most winningest actors you've ever seen.
But like, I think he might. I think my point is, I think he might be when he retires. I think he'll have.
It'll be like Michael Jordan or Viola Davis, like you said.
Yeah,
that was what he wanted.
So I think, he did actually. Yeah, the Golden Globes. Yeah. I think he'll have award after award because I think if this is what he's doing now, and I think he didn't deserve to win A Complete Unknown, but he was very good.
Yeah, it was good.
And so I can see him getting a lot, and I do think he'll win this year. And I think the fact that he's so young, I think it appeals to the Oscars to give it to him a little bit.
It probably does get people on side a bit. I think his main competition is probably Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, I was going to say the same. It's Leo in it, really. I don't think there's any others that kind of stand out to me.
I haven't yet seen Blue Moon, but supposedly Ethan Hawke is absolutely.
I have seen that he is also up there.
Yeah.
It's them three that are kind of up the top.
Okay.
Who else is in the list? We've got
Timothée Chalamet, we've got Leonardo DiCaprio, Ethan Hawke, and then Michael B. Jordan in Sinners because he plays two people.
I can't see. I mean, listen,
that won't happen, by the way.
I've not seen Sinners. This is criminal, and
I'm still baffed.
By the way, this podcast was meant to be a combination of Sinners and.
It wasn't meant to be.
Well, not meant to be, but like
nice
it would have been nice. And I said to Dom, I said to him last week, I was like, I'll definitely watch it, and I just haven't. So I tried to watch it the other night, but I was too tired. So
I fell asleep.
I watched Madagascar, mate. No, I didn't. So I've not seen Sinners yet. It's on my list. I'm desperate to, but I can't see him winning. Just based off of, just can't see Michael B. Jordan winning an Oscar.
His two performances are very good because they are distinct.
Yeah.
However, the spectacle of that film is not.
It's not
about
him. It's not him.
As good as he is, it's not about him, and I don't think it works in his favour.
Jack O'Connell
steals the show.
From what I've seen on and I've tried to avoid clips on Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. From what I've seen, Jack O'Connell is just like captivating and kind of shit on everybody else.
Doesn't shit on everybody else, but
that's just from what I've seen.
Very, very, very good at being that scary.
Yeah.
And if you've seen The Bone Temple, you will know that he is that scary.
Not seen Bone Temple, but I know you have. So
yeah.
And who's the last one, by the way? Who's the last actor?
Wagner Moura, The Secret Agent.
Oh, the Brazilian film. Yeah, not seen that. But,
I haven't seen that either. I need to, but obviously, as with
apparently fantastic. That's going to win international film.
Any Brazilian film that gets submitted for international feature will obviously come with a wave of 48 million people saying that it is absolutely the best film.
Yeah, it's well, it will win best international, won't it? But I can't see him winning.
I don't know. It's quite a strong year this year, actually, in terms of international feature. You've got The Secret Agent, but you've also got Sentimental Value, which is one of the best picture.
Yeah, it is. Is it a Scandinavian film? Yeah,
Stellan Skarsgård and lots of other people. You've also got Sirat, the Spanish entry, which is supposed to be very good. It Was Just an Accident, which I think is French, and that's fantastic. And then The Voice of Hind Jab, which I haven't seen, but I really want to.
So have you seen any of these?
I have seen Sentimental Value.
Right.
It Was Just an Accident. And
do you think
brilliant?
Do you think Sentimental Value has any legs to win Best Picture?
The reason.
If not, what do you think will?
It would be a rogue shout for Sentimental Value to win Best Picture. I think it would be a smart choice, but I don't think it's the rogue one that is likely to win. I think the one that's likely to win that's rogue is probably Train Dreams.
Right.
Because
Can't say I've seen it.
I think it's a smarter choice, and I think it's a more kind of all-round choice. Sentimental Value is one of those films that moves you emotionally to a point of kind of wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, as in hitting at the heart. Whereas Train Dreams is a lot more of a sort of that combined with technical accomplishment. I think.
Fair.
So, I think, but if it's gonna go anywhere, my head says
I think it's between two.
That it's going to be Sinners, and the reason why is because the Oscars have gotten so much shit over the years for disregarding horror films. I think this is their chance.
Well, it's the most nominated in history.
Well, it is. Yeah, exactly. And so that's where I waver. I think it'll win, but the reason it might not is because they might go, well, we've done all the nominating for it. It doesn't have to win.
It's going to win it. I think it's going to win it.
We've done it the respect.
I think it'll probably get 5 out of 19.
At least.
I reckon if it doesn't get 5, it's a bit of a travesty.
Yeah, because it is fucking great.
I think it's between that. Like I say, haven't seen it, need to see it, and probably one battle after another.
Yeah, I mean, that does feel like the other obvious choice.
Leo's great, Sean Penn's great.
I think Sean Penn's going to win.
Yeah, I think Sean Penn will win as well. It's Tiana Taylor, is that her name? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tiana Taylor, very, very good. The film itself, fantastic. Really enjoyed. And so I think it's between them two. I don't think Marty Supreme will win Best Picture, unfortunately.
No, I don't either. But actually, there's a potential to say that Hamnet might get a fair...
Hamnet, yeah, I've heard... Well, she's going to win it, isn't she?
Jessie Buckley is... By far and away, she's the Cillian Murphy of this year.
Really?
Nobody is going to touch Jessie Buckley.
Yeah.
And rightly so, because it's one of those ones where you stop watching an actor and you just sort of, it's them.
Why was Kate Hudson nominated?
For Song Song Blue?
Have you seen it?
No.
Not great. Well,
Really?
I mean, I didn't enjoy the film that much. Like, it was all right, but like, it was uplifting and shit like that. But like, at the same time,
Sometimes the Oscars run out of ideas.
yeah, I I went to see it with my family, and like, I just wasn't blown away. And when I seen she was nominated for the Oscar, I remember thinking,
Oh dear.
yeah,
Have you seen the Roy Keane film?
Roy Keane.
Saipan?
No,
You should go and see this. Saw it 2 nights ago.
is it new? Is it?
Yep. And it is about, on the eve of the 2002 FIFA World Cup,
Oh, is that when he pulls out?
Roy Keane leaves the Ireland squad as a...
Who's made that into a film?
the Irish.
Makes sense.
The strap line is anger, full stop, management, full stop.
Nice.
It is about... it's great. Steve Coogan plays Mick McCarthy.
Steve Coogan, no, he does it.
Yeah.
It can.
And then because it's an Irish name, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I'm going to go with Yana Hardwick, but it might be wrong. But he plays Roy Keane, and he is the standout bit of it.
Cinema or just at home?
Cinema.
Nice.
The film is choppy and annoying and quite badly edited together in some places,
Right.
and a bit like frustrating.
Yeah.
But the two performances are not the bad bit. And there's a great moment towards the end of it where they have the sort of the confrontation which causes them to leave, and it is
really good.
so watchable.
Fair.
Yeah, I think even if you don't give a shit about football, you're more than...
Well, yeah, that's true. And I was just going to say, I'd go. I don't think I'm going to get Diggs with us. Like, I don't think I'm going to
take her. Genuinely take her, because like
Diggs is my girlfriend for the people that don't know.
Yeah, it's not a spade. This is... sorry, Sophia. I was in the cinema with a few old men, yes, but actually a lot of women and partners brought along, and from the conversations afterwards, none of them were left going, oh.
I'll tell you why I'm not going to get her there.
Because
she wanted me to go see Downton Abbey, and I told her to get stuffed.
Two very different worlds, let's be honest.
Well, true, but then
is
again...
Downton Abbey ever not going to be shit?
Well, I don't even know if she went in the end. So I think that's why she should have moved. So if I then say, you know what I should say? I should say that I want to go see a film that I don't want to go see. She'll say no, and then I'll go, oh, well, what about this one instead?
You're genius.
I know.
Although I will say you've just ruined it by announcing it on the podcast.
She won't listen to this.
She won't listen to this.
It's not even because of you, mate. It's just I'm honest. She's sick of hearing my voice.
She's not going to leave the house and go, do you know what? Want another hour and a half of Drew in my ears? Yeah, I think...
Anyways, yeah, back on track.
Yeah, Hamlet does have a look in some places, because actually it's quite difficult to fault. Mm-hmm. The only bit that I wasn't mad about, really, is Paul Mescal doing To Be or Not To Be.
Right.
It just kind of went, Shakespeare, remember? yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be upset if any of Sinners, One Battle After Another, Hamlet, or Train Dreams actually won. I don't think Train Dreams will, but you know, it's a great film.
My head says it'll be Sinners. I think my heart wants it to be One Battle. Well, my heart wants it to be Marty Supreme, but I think that's a long shot. Sure. So I think after that it'll be One Battle After Another. But I do think, because of the success it's had, I think it's going to be Sinners. And going off of that, I think it's going to be Ryan Coogler
for director.
Yeah.
So interesting, that, isn't it?
And if not, it's going to be Paul Thomas Anderson.
Thomas.
I think it's between them two.
So,
personally.
Fun fact: my dad went to school with...
My dad's better than your dad.
He wrote a book. He went to school with Paul W.S. Anderson,
right?
Who was the director of Alien vs Predator. They were in the same English class.
Right.
And I got them confused when he first told me. And I was like, that's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And then I started talking about licorice pizza. And he's like, what are you talking about? I was like, oh shit,
Class.
my bad.
Yeah.
It's one of the best director categories in a while. So 2023, if I remember rightly, you had Chris Nolan for Oppenheimer. You had Marty Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yes, it was. I was thinking it wasn't The Irishman. That was
no, I know. I was thinking of One Battle After Another, Moon, Flower. And I was like, what?
fair.
There was also Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall, which I thought was actually the film of the year, even if she didn't win. Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest, which is amazing. And then one other fairly big name.
Yeah.
And it
was a really stacked category, though.
It was a great category. If I could remember better. Fuck.
I do think lots of the categories this year are impressive. I think Emma Stone from Bajoria won't win, but I think she was fantastic.
In a worse year, she would
win.
Be up there. However, she still doesn't hold a candle to Jessie Buckley.
Which is the issue.
She's not bad by any means. She's great. It's Emma Stone, but...
Well, I think the only person less likely to win than her is Kate Hudson, unfortunately.
Yes, I do think that's probably optimistic. I will say, supporting actress, I'm looking at Wunmi Masaku from Sinners. for a very specific reason, which is that no spoilers here because I know she hasn't seen it.
Please don't.
But she plays one of Michael B. Jordan's former loves,
Right.
and there's this big thing about her role, which is that Wumi Masaku, like, she's not got that kind of stereotypical supermodel figure of being very thin and sort of all that sort of stuff. She's much more of a kind of, as in quotes, regular size woman or whatever. And there's a huge thing in cinematic history that women of that shape, and particularly black women of that shape, are always assumed to be inherently motherly or grandmotherly figures, like matriarchal figures in the film. Now, in Sinners, her child that she had with the Michael B. Jordan character is no longer alive.
Right.
And when they first meet, there's this brilliant scene when they're first reunited. There's a brilliant scene when they're back together in which she so like holds her own. She proves herself to be so kind of wise to all of his tricks, still completely deeply infatuated with him, but like so cerebral and wise and knowing and hurt, and she carries so much of it in there. And that to have that big a blockbuster and to go, here's a stereotype from cinema. Let's just fucking scramble it. And there's no moment of going, but I'm your wife.
Yeah.
It's just, they just meet up and it's this brilliant scene.
Nice.
I kind of want it to win for that alone, because it was just anything that's going to challenge assumptions of long-standing bullshit.
Do you
Also,
think she will?
Well,
or is that your heart telling you because you love that scene?
It's not just because of that scene, though. She is amazing in all of it. I think the other contender really there is Amy Madigan in Weapons.
I'd seen she was the favourite. I've not seen Weapons. Too scary.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Too scary.
It's
man.
not.
I'm a pussy.
It's really not.
I get scared
It's
easy.
so good.
If I'm honest, part of the reason I didn't first go see Sinners is because I've heard it was a horror. That was when it was first out the cinema, but obviously I've heard more about it now, and so I realise I'm probably sounding I am not a wet wipe.
It's a lot more than that.
So, but I supporting actress, and I said this to you the other day. Not that she would win it, but Emily Blunt was snubbed, in my opinion.
I think she
from the Smashing Machine
could have been nominated.
I think she should have been nominated.
The only difficulty is I'm not taking anyone out of this list.
Who's last from Sentiment of Value? Just get
There's two of them.
There's two of them.
Elle Fanning and Inga Ibs Lilius.
Well, we'll get rid of Ego because I don't recognise her name, and I know who Elle Fanning is. So we'll get shot of her. Emily Blunt was snubbed, mate. You've seen the Smashing Machine, I presume. Good film. She's not in it. Average film for me. And I'm not surprised. So there was chat about The Rock being nominated. He was never going to get nominated for me. The only reason he would have is if it would have been like a novelty nomination. The Rock's been nominated for an Oscar. So
I mean, I've got mixed feelings on the Smashing Machine. I kind of agree with you in that you need a proper actor to hold some shit together. I will say I don't think it's her best performance at all. I think she's good in it, and she plays a role really great. But I also think it's a bit mad girlfriend goes crying. It's a bit neglected girlfriend starts crying, which is the right thing for this role to be. But I don't think it's her most challenging role at all. The thing with The Rock is, actually, I was a bit moved by his character, and that's particularly that scene in the hospital where he's with his mate.
Yeah, I agree.
Down.
And you know what it was? It was quite nice to see that you can actually act.
Yes, but, and there's a big but here.
Yeah, go on.
There's not a lot of acting he actually has to do.
No, it's not.
And even in that moment where he breaks down and cries, he pulls a sheet over his
face.
and
he's not actually crying. Mate, I think
anyone can rock their shoulders like they're sobbing. It's a very emotional scene. It's charged and it works.
Yeah.
But I'm not looking at it going, brilliant, master of the craft. I'm looking at it going, yeah, that's a bloke from Jumanji wearing some industrial hair and makeup.
Yeah, the prosthetics I thought was shit. Not gonna lie.
They made him look a bit more like the guy.
Yeah, but it was shit.
But actually,
all I saw was Rock with rubber on. But what do you call it? For me, it was his dialogue was very Rock.
Yes, but that's the bit that I like about it, and that's kind of why heavy prosthetics work. This is a guy whose emotions were absolutely not something he was able to express whatsoever. So I know, let's get the most wooden actor we can think of.
Fair.
Stick him in a thing where he can't move his face.
It's smart casting.
And then also, third party audience member.
She's arrived. Hiya. You alright?
Are your legs intact?
Do you want to come and say hello to the podcast?
Not really.
No.
Fine. Actually, this has been quite productive. This.
It's been good. We've had a
Has
good
he
time.
been good?
He has actually.
It's been
Yeah,
good.
he's actually-
Better than what I was last time. We did this 3 years ago.
I'm
I
not
was
thinking
so
that
unwell.
The stance.
Well, I've got to
Is that
lean
your
in.
thing?
It's a sort of
Is that your
lounge
thinking?
position.
I've got to lean in
Like
to
a
the
Roman-
mic.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
in fairness,
it doesn't work.
it's practical above all else. He's not just being imagined. This is
So
a side note. You know, in the Smash Machine, when they made The Rock drive a Mercedes SLK, and it was the funniest thing ever. He looked like a clown.
yes,
He's an
bizarre,
absolutely
really bizarre.
massive man in a tiny car.
What we were talking
I
about, I
was
completely
basically
interrupted.
saying that the dialogue in Smash Machine is great.
Yeah.
Because it uses itself. You know, every time he's in Japan
Mm-hmm.
and he's talking to the officials, and because they don't understand much English, he uses broken English.
Yeah,
And
he
goes
does,
like,
he does.
I not fair. Need a rematch or whatever. And it just sounds like he's incredibly thuggish. It just sounds like him anyway. It just sounds like his emotions.
Yeah, this is
are
what I
like
mean.
that.
It sounds like the Rock is. It sounds like the Rock's acting. It's just.
Yeah.
Which I know that is what it is when it's black and white. But it just. And I didn't think he did a bad job. I thought on the whole it was a good film.
I liked it.
I thought Emily Blunt made it better.
She did.
But you know, Josh definitely won the battle of the Safties this year. If we're talking about.
I do think his brother is probably looking at him going, for fuck's sake, did you have to do it in exactly the
I
same
don't know why
year?
Benny's in loads of films. He was in Oppenheimer.
He was in Oppenheimer. He was
I
also
didn't-
in Good Time.
I didn't even think he was in fucking Happy Gilmore 2.
I'm
Which we're back
Adam-
on. We've
Adam-
somehow segued back to Happy Gilmore 2.
Adam Sandler connections, that's all it is.
Yeah, mate.
So,
No.
so is Marty Supreme your favourite film of the year?
Yes, absolutely, no doubt. Well, the problem it was last year film.
Yes, but it's this
But-
award season, isn't it?
This award season, absolutely. But then again, I might watch Sinners and think that that's the shit.
I really think you might,
So
unless you're a bit not to dump too much, unless you're a bit scared.
well, I probably will be because I'm a pussy. But that's
The
not
first
the
time I
point.
watched it, I was a bit like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
But I was too overwhelmed by how good it was.
I just get jump scares easy.
It's not massive on that. It's not that kind of scary.
Nah, I think I'll be alright. We'll see. When I watch it, I'll text you and I'll let you know.
Yeah, please do.
I know we'll chat about it.
Yeah.
So
I am going to be devastated if you think it's fine, though.
I don't think I will, given all the praise it's got. I don't know, but my problem is now, do I go in with too high expectations? You know what I mean? That's my worry. That's what I'm going to go in and think this
Well,
is
go in knowing what people think, but also, I do that all the time. I go, most people hate this, so I'm
probably going to be shit.
But I then go, that's fine, but I'll make my own mind up on it.
Go on then, should we quickly do your definitive who's going to win each award?
Very quickly, yes. I am going to do my annual Oscars episode, but that includes stuff that isn't in this list.
Fair. If you don't, you can just give us top 3.
Casting, definitely Sinners. Visual effects, they'll probably give it to Avatar, which is just bollocks because it's rubbish. Cinematography, would be amazed if it's not Sinners, but I actually think Marty Supreme is probably my winner.
Got a shout, yeah.
Editing, tempted to say F1, except Cars is much easier than planes, so I won't. So I'm actually going to say Marty Supreme for that. I think that's probably going to...
Fair.
Sound is definitely Sinners without question for
Oh,
me.
yeah, it's
The only
definitely.
other shout is Sirat, but even then, no. Production design, I would pump for Hamnet out of the list.
Mm-hmm.
Could easily be One Battle After the or Sinners. I think either or.
Not very good at giving definitive.
Well, I haven't made my mind up yet, have I? Makeup Frankenstein, because the Smashing Machine, they just covered him up.
Was that nominated?
Yeah.
I didn't realise it was nominated for makeup. I've just said he's
The
prosthetics look shit.
the lead performance is
know.
done by makeup. Drew.
know,
Of course,
I know,
it was going
I
to be
know.
nominated.
Yeah, fair. I think she just said he had prosthetics on his face
He
as well.
did. Costume. Avatar is nominated for costume. Everybody's
what?
blue.
It's
Everybody's wearing the same motion capture. What do they mean?
CGI.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Sinners for costume. Score for me is Sinners without a single shadow of a doubt. I think it's up there with Ludwig Göransson's best work.
Yeah.
International feature, I've said, is probably going to be...
It's going to be Secret Agent.
Probably going to be Secret Agent
gonna be
because I
Secret
think they'll try and save sentimental value for something else bigger. But I think I prefer the sentimental value. Song is definitely I Lied to You from Sinners. Nice to see K-pop Demon Hunters in there. No, but it's not going to win. Screenplay, original. I'd probably actually give it to Marty Supreme. However, I think they tend to go rogue with the screenplay stuff. That stuff that doesn't win big.
I'm not asking what you think's going to win. I'm asking what you think should win.
Yeah, but I'm not saying what I think should win because I've got another entire fucking.
Yeah, you
2-hour
got another
podcast.
episode. That's a fair point. It's a fair point.
Screenplay. So Get Out won original screenplay,
Did it?
and then won fuck all else.
Right, fair.
And it was kind of the Oscars being like, "Well, give it something," and then
But it's a
leave
good
it,
film.
leave it at that. But it
Good
was
film.
like a brilliant film.
Yeah, really good film.
So they might do something like sentimental value there, give it a nod, and then move on. Adapted screenplays, Definitely going to be one battle after another.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any question.
Agreed.
Director, you do think it's Ryan Coogler?
I think Ryan Coogler. I think it'll be Ryan Coogler. I think it's a great category. Paul Thomas Anderson, could very easily win. I think the best picture and best director is between them two for both of them, I feel, in my personal opinion. But then again, I haven't seen a lot of the others. I haven't seen Hamlet. I haven't seen, like I say, Sentimental Value, a couple of others. I haven't seen Sinners. So, but based on what I've seen and heard, I'd go them two for both.
I can see it very easily being Ryan Coogler. I can also actually see it being Chloe Zhao.
Chloe Zhao, yeah. That is another one, to be fair. Could be Chloe Zhao.
Supporting actor, I think, is Sean Penn all day.
Yeah,
I
Sean
think
Penn.
it's even
Fantastic,
close. Supporting actress, I think, will be Amy Madigan. But
Give it to Tiana Taylor.
You reckon?
She won't win, but I think she was great.
Fair enough. Best actress, again, is a dead cert. It's definitely Jessie Buckley. Best actor, I think it is going to be TC. I just think it's his time.
Yeah, definitely.
And as good as Leo is, and a nice nod to have him get another Oscar, I don't think it's going
to he won't. Which is a travesty that he's only won one. Yeah. But, it is what it is.
And then I think Best Picture is probably either going to be Sinners or One Battle After Another.
Oh, see, before they started, I put on my phone it would be One Battle After Another, but in my head now, with all the chat, I think it could be Sinners.
I don't know. It's between those two. I think the Academy likes flirting with One Battle After, with Paul Thomas Anderson films, and kind of just sort of like just testing the waters with them and going like, see, do you remember all the good old shit?
Yeah.
Do you remember well people like, that's great, it was good, wasn't it? He's back, he's doing it again. And then we'll just leave it on the BBC telling us that yes, there is a right way to stack the dishwasher. Here are the 5 rules.
I was going to make a really offensive joke there, but I can't.
What, she's just walked in?
No, that was Dom's words.
We're going to call it there, otherwise this is going to...
Yeah, it's going to go hectic. Yeah.
Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having us, mate. It was good to be
Sinners.
back. I will.
But yeah, it's good to be back and actually not having you
and
to
being
die.
well, yeah.
And
being great, mate.
Not sounding like you recorded it on a Nokia 3310 and charged at the library.
Had a great time.
I've got another episode which I'm recording very soon, so that'll be out probably a week or two after this, and then it'll be Bushra Awards time, so keep an eye out. But thank you, and see you later.
Love you, bye!
Bye!